Just quickly before the video starts, I want to say a huge thank you to my channel members. You guys are absolute legends. I appreciate that this channel's been a little quiet for the last few months. I have re-recorded and re-edited this video multiple times. But it's done now, guys, so I do appreciate my channel members and the rest of you that have waited so patiently. Get yourself a snack and enjoy this little video. Bye. Doctor Who, a show about a face-changing alien who battles against monsters to save the day.
This world is our fortress, accompanied by many things. I am Jezebel, Queen of Tyre and Sidon. We take charge over this realm and command our force and power over the people. We shall bring forth dictatorship and world domination.
It's been running for almost 61 years at this point, yet the poor thing has been dwindling since the Capaldi era. And after the Chibnall era, it needed a tasty little revamp before Russell the Tank Engine took the reins. My God, ladies and gents, has it been a hell of a year. Doctor Who announced it was being yanked by Mickey Mouse himself. People in the UK were told, hey, you'll be getting midnight releases, so you'll have to stay up really late whilst the Americans can enjoy the show at tea time. Haha, screw you, Lamau. Davros is no longer half Dalek because of wheelchair people bad, apparently.
And there's a problem with the Davros of old in that he's a wheelchair user. I had problems with that. I say this is how we see Davros now.
Ncuti Gatwa was announced as the 15th Doctor, and of course, it didn't take long for the degenerates to reveal themselves. Then people were really angry when Ncuti Gatwa made a joke about twerking on a monster.
Come on, monsters! Let's go. Everyone better be jumping.
Those same people are now the people you'll see commenting on every single Doctor Who video saying, sorry, wasn't watching this. I was too busy touching grass. Yeah. Or they'll comment something like, rest in peace, Doctor Who, 1963 to 2017. Oh. However, today, guys, I am back, ranking and reviewing Doctor Who. Seeing as you guys love it so much, I have a tier list here, ranked from perfect all the way down to god awful. I'm about to rank and review all episodes from the 60th anniversary to the end of season 1. Zoo-wee mama. However, please remember, guys, that this is just my opinion, and I know some of them might grind your gears, but it's my opinion, alright? We're completely entitled to our own. Secondly, I've had to take time off work to make this video in a timely manner, so please just leave a like or something, or subscribe, only if you enjoy it, of course, because that really helps me out. And you know me, being the avid David Tennant fan that I am, I was super excited to see David Tennant returning as the Doctor, and after 2 painful years, we finally got to see him back in action. So I say without further ado, strap in, get comfortable, as we review this controversial season of Doctor Who.
Now, if you are a regular sidetracker over on the sister channel, you'll know that I have pretty good sources over at Hollywood that tell me a lot about what's going on. And somebody has leaked this to me. He's told me that Russell T Davies effectively being fired.
This show has never crossed the 5 million mark. Ever. It's been abysmal from start to finish.
Well, I've been calling since the beginning that this Doctor Who wokeness was going to be an absolute failure, and everybody's pretty much tuned out at this point.
Doctor Who simply refuses to be flushed down the toilet like the turd it is. Since so far every episode has been even more gay than Brokeback Mountain, the Doctor and Ruby have to save music from an insane cross-dressing freak called the Maestro, who is as cringe as he is gay.
It's not working, BBC. It's just not working, and you have to admit it. I mean, who could have seen this coming, right? We've been warning that the woker the show got, the worse the ratings would be.
Doctor Who is dead, and it has been for a while, and whatever hopes people had were completely dashed with the 60th anniversary and the Christmas special.
This is the fantasy of the left, that they are so terrifying that the mere mention of them makes normal people run in fear. Maybe they're just running away from your stench. I mean, haven't y'all decided that showering and using toilet paper isn't environmentally friendly? Also, normal people might just be concerned
So we start with the 60th anniversary specials. The Star Beast.
Once upon a time.
Why did they have this as the opening shot?
Once upon a time.
I was not expecting. This looks beyond awful. Don't get me wrong, I get why they're doing this. It's to get all the new viewers up to scratch, and that's what Disney wanted. Oh, David. At least we've got a sick new title sequence. Yeah, this is going to need to be fixed ASAP. So the Doctor's literally just gone from being game-ended by a big sentient laser ball thing to just skipping around Camden Town. Honestly, only in Doctor Who could this happen. But he bumps into Donna straight away, literally 1 minute into the episode. I will say the dialogue in this opening scene is actually very, very good. It's clear the banterous dynamic has clearly not lost its touch.
You can wear a suit that tight up to the age of 35 and no further.
And the joke that Donna always misses everything still ongoing is still hilarious. However, this idea that Donna gave every single penny away from winning the lottery is such a ridiculous notion. She won £166 million. She could have literally given away 150 million of it and still been completely set for life. Donna should literally be awarded an MBE or a knighthood or something for that. The sequence in which Sylvia is talking to Donna about getting it right in regards to Rose is really nice.
When I say she looks gorgeous, is that right? I mean, is it sexist? Never said it to him when he was... Oh, sorry.
It's showing someone who is trying to be supportive and understanding in a topic that is highly sensitive. Because most people Sylvia's age would go, What you identifying as a fucking fridge? All these genders and that. Oh, mate, I'm surprised you don't identify as a fucking desk. Anyway, so the Meep has crashed to Earth and then gets found with this hilarious 10 out of 10 sequence.
And there's no monster. Oh, for the love of God, none of this is real.
Right, let's talk about this sequence.
You're assuming he as a pronoun.
Yes, sorry, good point. Are you he or she?
Yeah, this comes across very public service announcement-y. This line is meant to be a joke, but Yasmin Finney's delivery of this makes it sound preachy and a bit standoffish. I think maybe having Sylvia say this line instead, in like an attempt to show that she's understanding of the topic, would have made this joke funny, but it just didn't come across that way at all, and yeah, it pissed a lot of people off. So the unit soldiers get involved, and then we get some Russell T Davies explosions. Man, it's been so long since I've said this. Wow, the Doctor's new Sonic has the ability to make bulletproof shields? I'm sure this feature won't be forgotten in season 1. So let's talk about the one thing I don't understand about this episode. The Doctor needs to make sure that Donna doesn't remember, because she will burn and she will die. So he basically just starts waving his sonic screwdriver around, literally gives it to her, and then talks about him being an alien. What is this writing? Uh-oh, the Meep then turns out to be Big Bad Boy. Sorry, Big Bad the Meep. However, I must say, the Meep looks amazing in this, and Miriam Gargoyles is fantastic.
That I started to cream in my knickers. I could feel it. Primary ignition signature installed.
They all talk to themselves when they start up their ships, all the villains, don't they?
We do that in our cars. Time to turn the ignition on.
That might make driving more fun.
Turn on the air
I might just start
conditioning.
doing my daily life like that.
Having my morning piss.
Igniting bladder sequence.
Bladder at full capacity. So the only way for the Doctor to save the day is to make Donna remember. And it is a really good scene, and I think that the idea of the meta-crisis being passed down actually works, and is plausible. And the genius coincidence of the non-binary line makes it hilarious, but that should have been it, right? That should just be it. Meta-crisis over. But of course it's not.
It's a shame you're not a woman anymore. She'd have understood.
Something a male-presenting Time Lord will never understand.
Just let it go.
Ugh. You're a smelly man. Women are great and have the ability to let it go, unlike stinky boys. I cannot help but get irritated by lines of dialogue like this. Moffat used to do the same thing.
The only time I've been a man, that last body. Dear Lord, how do you cope with all that ego?
It just screams that a male writer that's pandering to females wrote this. If we're taking this progressive route with diversity and equality, then it should not come at the expense of taking digs at certain individuals. You're essentially fighting spiteful comments by using spiteful comments, which in my opinion defeats the purpose of the show being progressive. And that's when it comes across as preachy and somewhat condescending. The resolution could have been so much more. More build-up was needed because this episode was so fast-paced, I'm surprised there wasn't any bloody Subway Surfers playing alongside it. The idea that Rose always felt like an outsider, yes, that's all great, but cheap shots like, men dumb, women brilliant, really doesn't help this show's case. And I will say this, Yasmin Finney, the acting is poor, right? Like, her line delivery is not good at all. She has, like, no emotion in her face whatsoever. The visuals, barring the intro, are fantastic, and Murray Gold is back and his soundtrack is booming. The banter was like it never left, and David has aged like fine wine. God damn. Also, guys, we do need to talk about this TARDIS. When I first saw it, I absolutely loved it.
Whoa! Oh, I like it.
You can
run through!
Look at that Disney budget.
Oh, it's got mood lighting!
He's got the LED strip lights. Yeah. I don't know why this makes me want to cry.
There's something so nostalgic about it, isn't there?
That's mainly because I think anything's better than Jodie's dimly lit box room TARDIS. Actually, I think as time has gone on, this is the first TARDIS that I've started to actually dislike. Like, sure, the console itself is really cool, there's a lot of ramps to run around in, and there's mood lighting, but what's the point in having all this space to run around when we spend about 2 minutes in the TARDIS every episode anyway? I just think they've gone for bigger is better, which, trust me bros, adequate size is usually quite good, right? I think we could argue that every character sort of portrays the Doctor's personality, whereas this TARDIS, it doesn't do that at all. I don't know, let me know your opinions, because I'm a bit conflicted. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't really know. So apart from a few gripes I had, alright guys, I do actually think this episode is good. It had that Doctor Who feeling that had been lacking for so long. We had Russell T Davies, David Tennant, Catherine Tate at the helm again. Oh my god, life is good. Nostalgia bait tickling everyone's plums, and that's why I'm going to be putting this episode in good. Next up, we've got Wild Blue Yonder. Susan Twist! Susan Twist! Yeah, I do not like this intro at all. It is so cringy. Wow, gravity has been changed to mavity. I wonder what relevance this will have in the future. The Dr. Donna land on spooky spaceship and the TARDIS turns into a massive pussy stool.
We go and kick its ass!
Donna said a swear word, naughty. So they find out they're at the edge of creation and something strange is going on the ship. The slow build up to this episode is absolutely fantastic, which inevitably leads to things going tits up real quick. Before it all kicks off, you see the cold breath and the sound of squelching when Spooky David walks in. The same then happens for the Doctor the second Donna walks in.
My arm's too long. Look.
What the fuck? Cheese and rice, it hits the fan. Some insanely crazy visuals. And David Tennant with his monotone and relaxed delivery is absolutely fantastic.
The notion of shape is strange.
Yes, the green screen is questionable and the visuals aren't amazing, but my god is it creative and batshit crazy and I love it. The scene where you're unsure who is absolutely magnificent. There's this powerful sequence relating to the timeless child and David shows more emotion than Jodie did across 2 damn series. This is amazing. The scene in which they figure it all out. Excuse me, what the fuck? Who wants my attention? The scene in which they figure it all out, albeit slightly dragged out, is great too. You, the audience, feel like you're all working it out together without all this excessive techno babble. I love it. Which leads to this seriously intense ending. The ship is going to self-destruct and the Doctor selects the wrong Donna.
I hope he's picked the right one. Has he?
Oh no!
Oh, please tell me he knows. Please tell me he's not that stupid.
He knew.
Oh! What's happening?
What a tense and brilliant sequence that was. And the cherry on top of the sweet, sweet cake is Wilf!
Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
Oh, wow. This is Doctor Who, man. Yes, the visuals don't look all that incredible, but my God, this has such an incredible premise. Fantastic performances, gripping throughout. I absolutely love this episode. Well done, Russell TV Davies. I would put this episode in perfect if it wasn't for that intro and some of those sequences just dragging on for slightly too long, but you cannot deny this episode was absolutely brilliant. This episode, guys, is going in great. Which takes us on to episode 3, the finale, The Giggle. The episode kicks off introducing us to Neil Patrick Harris as the toy maker, which makes for a really intriguing, comedic and offsetting opening. Oh, that was a tongue twister. But David and gang go to Unit because the world is going absolutely doolally, as you can see from these 2 clips that they show. But luckily, Unit have this convenient armband that doesn't make them go mental.
I've seen you walk. I've seen you walking. Don't deny it. No, you can't stop me.
And basically, it's just used as a way to jab at COVID conspiracy theorists. Nice one. But it turns out that Neil Patrick Harris is having a good old chuckle behind every screen or something. I do love the reveal when the Doctor finds the toy maker. That damn soundtrack.
The toy maker.
That sexy soundtrack. Muscly Murray is back again. The Doctor and Donna have this really touching scene, but what I noticed on the rewatch, these dramatic moments with David, I just really struggle to take them serious because of his hair. His hair is so bad. Why did they do it like this, man? He has such beautiful hair. I get it, he's not the 10th Doctor. This looks so ridiculous. Then we get even more of those trippy visuals, which I absolutely love from these specials. Even the Scottish puppet.
He's a bumhole lover, this one. A proper dirty little bumhole lover.
The toy maker then runs Donna through what happened with all the companions since her. Just choosing to ignore Bradley Walsh and the rest of the gang. Fair enough.
I love it so much.
It's fun as well, do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
a fun episode, it's a cool episode, I'm loving it.
Whoa!
But just as David returned... Oh, the pain. So yeah, the Doctor bigenerates. What? Literally, the only reason I'm not losing my marbles at this is because it means that the 14th Doctor is still out there chilling, which I like because I love David Tennant. However, this raises so many bloody questions. What is the number one thing to do after we've just had a huge lore change with the show? We do it again. This bi-generation thing could have literally been a result of like the toy maker playing a game and fucking about with reality. But no, it's an ancient myth that has now become true. Oh, shush. Just another lore change that just raises so many more questions and doesn't even get explained, of course. The 3 men then play a game I never got to play with my dad, and the toy maker gets banished. We seriously just watched a sentient being lose a game of catch, and that's how the day is saved. The TARDIS then gets duplicated, sure, and then Shooty's like, can you fuck off? Yes, the ending to this episode is very, very nice. We see David, my Doctor, happy.
Who'd have thought I ended up with a fairy?
Oh my God, I got it wrong.
I've never been so happy in my life.
This finale, guys, is disappointing. Upon a rewatch, these specials feel so underbaked. The pacing is so fast with a random one-off episode in the middle. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad that Wild Blue Yonder is with David and Catherine. However, I feel like this should have been in season 1, and the 3 specials should have been a 3-parter, a beginning, a middle, and an end. But these do just feel like 3 loose episodes put together. Shooty brings really great energy, and David, as always, gives a great performance, and it's a really sweet ending for his Doctor, and it's time to say goodbye to him again. Yes, it was a fun, nostalgic time, and ultimately it was just a slight letdown in the end. Guys, this episode is going in okay. Ho, ho, ho! It's Christmas 2023! And it's time to get started on the Ncuti Gatwa era. The episode starts with mystery woman leaving baby on Church of Ruby Road. And then we see Ruby with Davina McCall as a great genius way to dump exposition about Ruby. And okay, now the Doctor is dancing in a nightclub. Yucky, yucky. The Doctor dancing in a kilt. Ugh, yuck, this show's so woke. Ugh. Get over yourself. Okay, now the Doctor's got a snowman falling on him. Honestly, we're like 7 minutes in and we haven't sat still yet. Then we get to meet Ruby's family and introducing me to my favourite character since Wilf, Cherry, Sunday.
I am not going anywhere. Shackle me to this bed. And where is my cup of tea?
So they order a baby from Amazon, which then gets stolen by these gobbly goblins. And their whole shtick is that they find coincidence tasty or something. Guys, don't get me wrong. I get that this episode is like, whoop whoop, Christmas fun times, but Mavity gloves, the sonic click remote, and being able to speak rope. Like, come on, this is not exactly smart writing, is it? But hey guys, at least we get an epic musical number for some reason. Yes, the Goblin King looks absolutely fantastic, right? In fact, all of the visuals in this episode are absolutely stunning. Really showed off that sexy Disney budget. But time goes all funky, so the Doctor just murders the Goblin King. Yep. He saved baby Ruby with this convenient catch, then just stands there whilst her mysterious mystery mother just strolls off. Didn't think to stop her or say hello, Doctor? No? Okay. This episode is just meh. Ncuti's energy is absolutely amazing, but I didn't feel like I really got a sense of his Doctor other than just, honey, babes, isn't it babes? Yeah, babes? A Doctor's first episode should give us an insight to their overall character, but I think this Doctor just comes out and's all like, hey, it's me, I'm really happy and full of energy, that's it, that's my thing. And Millie Gibson in this episode was fine. I've not really got too much to say about it, but that's about it. Yes, the visuals in this episode are phenomenal, but cheap MacGuffins and lazy writing brings this episode down to just okay. Oh yeah, and then there's this Mrs. Flood woman. She starts this series of fourth wall breaking, which really makes me angry.
Never seen a Tardis before.
No, fuck off. No. And now, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us on to the official start of Season 1, Space Babies. Yay, they fixed the intro sequence, but it's still out of sync. Yuck. And because it's Russell T Davies too, there's no time to breathe. So the Doctor spouts all of the exposition we need to know, which I'm usually all for, but this is essentially a complete reboot. This does need to be explored for a new audience. We can't just be like, I'm the Doctor, I'm from Gallifrey, I can regenerate, haha, let's go fly the Tardis. There's this joke sequence where Ruby steps on a butterfly, and we see the Doctor breathe regeneration energy into it, bringing it back to life. And that got me thinking, now that the Doctor's all like immortal and can just regenerate forever and ever, does that mean like he can just breathe regeneration energy into everything and bring everyone back to life? Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? Epic shot of TARDIS landing on Satellite 5.
Most of the universe is knackered, babes.
Yes, that is a brilliant line. I love that line. And wow, incredible looking monster, I cannot lie. But it becomes very apparent that this was just for the trailers because after this point, we only ever see it on these god-awful CCTV shots.
Shit! Fuck me!
Then we come to this sequence, which is the clear recreation of the scene from The End of the World, where Ruby calls her mum.
I'll catch you in a minute.
It is really crazy to me that these two scenes were written by the exact same man. However, none of the emotional beats hit the same. And listen, I get it. They're two completely different characters. However, I don't get the sense that Ruby is at all overwhelmed by anything, and she's constantly like, "Wowee, Doctor, how wonderful. Oh, this is fabulous. God, you're so amazing." Rose just felt like a human being to me, and one that was completely out of her depth, which is realistically what Ruby should be feeling as well.
But you, Ro, we've been waiting for an awfully long time.
Yeah, this don't look good at all. So it's clear that all the Disney budget went in the first joke, because, man, these babies don't look great. And upon a rewatch, I get more confused about the premise of this episode. To me, it's like an episode of a cartoon. Oh, intelligent talking babies running a spaceship, but still poop themselves, lamau. Also, the Doctor traumatizing the children and finding it hilarious is also really strange to me. It just seems really out of character. Guys, the Doctor and Ruby have a really meaningful conversation about her mother. Wow. We see more shots of mysterious woman pointing. Ooh, how ominous. This woman must be really important. Then it starts snowing. This seems to happen throughout the series and just never gets explained. And listen, I'm going to get this point out of the way now. I'm holding off criticism about the whole snowy stuff because I'm expecting it to be explained in season 2. However, we haven't seen it yet, so I'm just holding off my criticisms for now. Oh my god, baby has been game ended. JK, he somehow ran away from the monster and hid in this locker. How did he do that then? How did he do that? Anyways, it turns out that the bogeyman is made out of bogies. Ugh. So Nanny's like, yuck, yuck, I hate bogies, and tries to game end it. And the Doctor's all like, nah, the bogeyman is one of the children or something. What? So the bogeyman starts getting sucked off, and then so does the Doctor because he tries to save it. But of course, the Doctor does save him, and then it howls like a wolf or something. Then the ship gets like its travelling power by farts. Yes, all of those things I just said are really what happened. So here's the thing. I think my initial reaction to this was like, oh my god, new season of Doctor Who. Yay, it's so fun, it's so fun. But if we're talking about story, Ncuti's energy is fantastic, but I am still not familiar with what kind of Doctor he is. Sure, he has some absolute sass, Yas Queen and all that, and he likes to traumatise children, but what else is this Doctor about? And the same goes for Ruby, other than, wow, I don't know my mum. Who is me mum, please? I don't feel like I relate to her character in any way other than her just being excitable with the Doctor. But it is early days, guys. It is very early days. The visuals in this episode are absolutely sublime. Ncuti is great fun, and Murray Gold played his little heart out with some great little bits of soundtrack in there. But the story is so weak. The babies look awful, and the whole premise actually just doesn't make any sense at all. This episode, guys, is going in not for me, mainly because I will never ever watch this episode again, just like 99% of Doctor Who fans.
It's called The Devil's Chord.
Tell me more, sir.
Yeah, this episode really just wastes no time getting into it at all.
Them.
What?
Me.
What?
I'm them.
You're who?
You're who?
See guys, this use of pronoun correction is hilarious, and anyone that genuinely got offended by it needs to go and have their heads checked. Wowee, Jinx Monsoon is fucking incredible in this. Yeah, I mean, that was a bit weird. But damn, what an intro to the episode. We even get this epic transition from piano into theme tune. Frickin' love that. Yes, you see, this is what Doctor Who should be. Travelling to different times, showing them getting excited, getting changed into the eras. I love all this stuff. I also really like in this sequence that we don't use the psychic paper, albeit very convenient. And before this episode was released, I did wonder how they were going to go about using Beatles music because, yeah, they're not very nice when it comes to using their songs. However, they did it in a way that I was not expecting.
I've got a dog, he's called Fred. My dog is alive, he's not dead.
What the fuck? Susan Twist! Susan Twist! There is this wonderful sequence with the Doctor and Paul McCartney talking about how music has fallen, but deep down they know music is there. Then Maestro puts a stop to it. Oh yeah, love it! And there is that Russell T Davies cheese again. Yes! I also really love the reference to the Doctor living over there.
I live over there.
You do what?
I live over there.
What do you mean?
I love this reference because I always wonder, wait, the Doctor has been here before. What if he bumps into himself? So it's good that he addresses it here. Also, probably a little foreshadowing. Susan coming back, who knows? Anyway, Ruby plays a little tune, and as you can see, it's definitely really her playing the piano. But then Maestro appears, so the Doctor absolutely shits himself and runs away.
You survived.
It tore my soul in half. I can't survive that again.
I'm not being funny, Doctor, but it hardly looked that traumatic, mate. You were literally parading around in your underwear. Ruby's all like, oh, Doctor, clearly everything's alright, 'cause I'm alive. So the Doctor just shows her London completely destroyed. But then it's interrupted by Maestro in this absolutely fantastic sequence. She reveals her entire plan.
I'm going solo.
God, this is so cheesy. I love it. Jinx Monsoon's performance is absolutely sublime.
Sublime!
I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about that.
My God, this is one of the greatest jokes that Doctor Who has ever told. Oh my God, that is actually top tier. But unfortunately, guys, that's where the highs for this episode come to an end. There is some absolutely lovely visuals, but there's more of this, oh, the mystery of Ruby, oh, what's the mystery? When this series was first released, yeah, cool, it was so intriguing. However, when you're watching this a second time over, and you know what happens at the end, it comes across really stupid. Then there's this... This is really over the top, especially when you know they're not even actually playing. Anyways, guys, the Doctor pulls an absolute whoopsie and gets the chord wrong. And of course, I called it The Beatles Save the Day. And listen, as corny as it is, I'm glad it wasn't the Doctor that saved the day in this episode. Yeah, so there's this musical number for some reason. I don't really have too much to say on this because it's effectively pointless. I love the overall message of this episode, the importance of music and the influence it has on humanity. Jinx Monsoon is absolutely fantastic in this episode. However, this was advertised as a Beatles episode and they were barely in it. The resolution was a bit pants. And it seems to me like this pantheon that they've been going on about can seem to be defeated quite easily. But anyone that dislikes this episode because of, oh, drag queen, yeah, it's absolutely pathetic. Because this episode is very good, so I will be putting it in good. Boom! Oh my goodness me, David Hasselhoff is back. After 7 years and what feels like an eternity, the Moth returns to help Russell T Davies get this show off the ground once again. Moffat is renowned for writing bangers under Russell T Davies' tenure. So hopefully he can return to us with an absolute banger. As you know, I love me an episode that's set in one place. It's really great to just slow things down, spend time with the main characters, and maybe we'll just have a little space to breathe and learn more about Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor. We start the episode with Bird Box Man asking to smell this kid's breath.
I need to smell your minty breath. Oh, you little liar.
And I will say the level of detail on this set, by the way, is incredible. And the way that they made this episode is absolutely fascinating as well. I love it when Doctor Who tries new things.
I'll let you see my tattoo.
Your tattoo?
It's not on general view.
It took 1 minute for a horny Stephen Moffat innuendo. Wow, that is record time. It's only been 7 years, Steve. So the Doctor steps on a landmine. Big oopsie poopsie. Oh my God, Susan Twist ambulance. Susan Twist ambulance, will it? But at least we've got a very interesting premise.
One wrong move and boom.
He said the episode title. That's funny. I love the tension in this episode. Russell T Davies 2 has definitely been lacking it, and the tension is raised even more when Ruby finds this fleshlight. You can really tell this episode is written by Stephen Moffat just by the way the Doctor babbles on, but it doesn't feel too incessant. He's funny whilst clearly in a state of panic, and he is emotional, but in this moment it is completely warranted, and I really, really enjoy Ncuti's performance in this episode. The way the pair try and calm each other down in the suspenseful moments is absolutely fantastic. And looking back, I genuinely think this is the only episode in the entire series where we watch these two characters and their blossoming friendship, and it really shocks me that this is the episode that wasn't written by Russell T Davies, because character writing is Russell's bread and butter. Anyway, it quickly goes tits up when terrible child actor shows up. Of course, Stephen, like you just couldn't resist using a terrible child actor, could you, man? Then season 2 companion gets involved, and then Susan Ambulance shows up, and everyone's bloody arguing. Oh, and then just to top it off, little simp boy over here just absolutely gay men's Ruby. God, this story is great. But of course, it's interrupted by more, who is Ruby's mum? Who is it? Oh, what a mystery this will be. But guys, it turns out that these soldiers have been fighting nothing, because capitalism bad and war good. Ruby gets brought back to life and the day is saved. The episode ends with the Doctor's excitement, which I absolutely love. Oh my God, it just is so great. Stephen Moffat needed that break because he came back with the best episode of RTD2 so far, aside from Wild Blue Yonder. Stephen chucks in a lot of fan service and references.
Fish fingers and custard is my favorite.
Shooty and Millie's performances in this episode are absolutely fantastic. The tension was sublime, and the way this episode was made is really fascinating. However, the weird rush love interest, the terrible child acting, and the slightly cringe ending stops this episode from being top tier. But I will say, this episode is going in great. 73 yards. So, the season is finally picking up, and the Doctor and Ruby end up in Wales.
The war between the land and the sea.
Was that foreshadowing? The Doctor stands on this string ring, which would have been blown away by the wind if it was on the edge of this cliff. I'm just saying that. But anyway, he then ends up evaporating. Ruby tries to find him, but then finds Mysterious Woman, and then tries to have a conversation with her as if she was stood right in front of her.
Have you seen my friend? He was here.
What? What are you saying, love?
Can you just wait there?
Love, I'm deaf. Can you not tell by the fucking sign language?
Okay.
Ruby then bumps into Susan Twist, but Mysterious Lady interrupts by telling her that Ruby's breath stinks. There is this absolutely fabulous scene in this little Welsh pub where we meet some really interesting characters, and they all decide to prank Ruby by building this sinister story about Mad Jack.
I've got my hands full. You've got enough passes here to last 2 weeks.
But throughout this sequence, there is some really wonderful natural dialogue and some great banter. The episode starts off gripping, but the grip gets grippier when more and more people start to turn on Ruby. Not like that, guys. Come on, don't be an animal. Cherry Sunday's back, yay!
I told her that man was no good with his box of magic tricks.
And so is Mystery Lady, Mrs. Flood.
Nothing to do with me.
Guys, yeah, listen, we really slept on this line of dialogue, didn't we? Looking back, that is really quite obvious. Why would anyone say that? She clearly has something to do with it. So first it was Susan Twist, then it was Welsh Pub Man, now it's Ruby's mum. But then we get Kate Lethbridge-Stewart. Oh my god, she's back. But she turns against Ruby too. Guys, we are literally halfway through this episode and it has been absolute perfection. However, in typical Russell T Davies 2 fashion, the pace just accelerates and the episode very quickly just falls apart. We see a montage of Ruby aging and gaining a bond with this mystery lady. The way they make Ruby age is just so pathetically funny. Did they do what they did with Amy in The Girl Who Waits? You know, when the show had a significantly lower budget? No, they just put some glasses on her. Wow, look at this woman. She is definitely over 40. Wow. Then we are introduced to a terribly underbaked Welsh Trump man, Robert, or Roger or something. We know he's bad because he hates immigrants and wants to nuke people. Ugh, that's original. And by the way, that is literally all we find out about him. That is it. He's just racist. And literally, as we meet him, we get to the resolution of the episode. Yep. Ruby saves the day by walking onto the Cardiff City football pitch and scaring evil bad man. That's it. He's defeated. Then, to finish the episode off, we actually see old Ruby on her deathbed, and Michael Caine gets eaten by creepy mystery woman.
You dirty little fucking...
Wow. So, was the mystery woman Ruby all along? I guess she was, but no. But guys, it's never explained. In fact, the more you deep this episode, the more none of it makes any sense at all. And listen, I get Russell T Davies saying, alright boyo, I'm never going to tell you what she said. I'm never going to tell you that. That's me doing my Welsh again, apologies. And, you know, that's fair enough. But Russell T Davies seems to think that in this series, we should just accept whatever he writes and not question anything at all. Can you at least explain how and why the Doctor disappeared? And what the actual point of this mysterious woman was? And why any of this happened in the first place? Listen, the first half of this episode is absolute perfection. It's gripping, it's creepy, it's fascinating. The direction in this episode is fantastic and the cinematography is super sexy. But the lack of explanation to this story leaves you frustratingly confused, and it by far has one of the most underbaked villains we've ever seen in Doctor Who history. However, I still really enjoyed this episode nonetheless. But I've got to stand my ground. It's going in good. Yeah, because I get annoyed thinking about the episode, so it's got to go in good. That's it. Dot and Bubble. One thing I will give this new season, it has some really creative concepts which are so refreshing. We follow Lindy, a typical Fiat 500 driver, in the world of Fine Time, where they live in their own bubbles. And man, I love subtle social commentary, man. Watching this, I was so confused as to how we could support this main character in this episode. She is so unlikable. Obviously, it's not until the ending that you realise that was the intention all along. So there's these slug things infiltrating Fine Time and killing off all of these little rich white kids. Oh my god, literally one of them is sucking off this man. So Poppy tries to escape and does a cracking job at doing so. The Doctor and Ruby are trying to assist her, where Poppy then explains the world and how it works and reveals it's just for rich kids that get to live here for free. Susan Twist! Susan bloody Twist! Anyway, Poppy then meets Ricky September. Wow, he is super epic hot right now. He then finds out that the entire homeworld population has been absolutely game-ended. Just rip. Then it's explained to us that these slugs are killing everyone in alphabetical order, where we have one of the most brutal backstabbings and death scenes ever in Doctor Who. Fucking Jesus! But wait, if the Dots were the ones that were getting pissed off and wanted to game end everyone, why didn't they just do this from the beginning? This would have saved a lot of time. But then it becomes clear that Lindy is just an awful, awful person, and that is when we get to the climax, where we find out why. The Doctor offers to save them and take them off of the planet, and this is where all of the random aggression starts to make sense.
We couldn't travel with you.
Because you, sir, are not one of us.
So you were kind, although it was your duty to save me.
No, thank you. And goodbye.
They are all racists! Watching this episode the second time round really makes you realise the amount of microaggressions that I, a white male, didn't even clock.
No, Lindy, don't!
Is that thing, is it something to do with you?
Walk without the arrows.
Oh, that's what I just said. Now shut up. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. Didn't I block you? I knew it. I did. I thought that you just looked the same, but I muted you.
I'm muted, honey.
I was so right to hate you. He is going to be so disciplined. I can't wait. Okay, I think he's not as stupid as he looks.
We couldn't travel with you. So you were kind, although it was your duty to save me.
Yeah, this episode is insanely thought-provoking. And if anyone says, oh, this episode is so woke, it's awful, God, what, are you calling white people racist? This is literally the least on-the-nose political commentary you could get. At no point do any of these characters actively say, hey, we hate anyone who's not white. It is portrayed solely in their behaviour, and I think that is absolutely brilliant. Their own arrogance, ignorance, and bigotry leads them to their death. And this is the one time a group of people refuse to be saved by the Doctor, and it absolutely breaks him. And the thing is, he doesn't even care that they were racists. He's more bothered by the fact that he couldn't save their lives. God damn, what a man. It's really great when an episode of Doctor Who gets you thinking, especially when it's done in a way where it feels like it's not preaching at you or telling you off. This is how social commentary should be done in Doctor Who. I love this episode, and watching it a second time, I loved it even more. And knowing that this is the first scene that Shooty shot as well, fair play, my son, fair play. This episode, guys, is going in great. Oh boy, here we go. Right, here we go. Rogue. I got so much shtick for my reaction to this episode. It is still my most disliked video on this channel, and it's nowhere near the highest viewed. Make it make sense. People straight away listed me as homophobic, a bigot, anti-woke, which of course anyone who's actually seen my DTDW Reacts YouTube channel, you should definitely subscribe right now, you guys would know that that is very much not the case. And I will stand by the fact that this episode is not good. And let me tell you for why. The episode starts with two rambunctious saltburn bad boys having a jolly old scrap until one of them gets electrocuted. Yes, this episode is about shape-shifting birds that roleplay as humans because they love the drama or something. Sure, sounds like an interesting premise.
Oh my, Bridgerton.
Yeah, I still find it really strange that a BBC and a Disney show consistently reference one of Netflix's most successful shows multiple times. And it definitely doesn't get old, guys. The Doctor references these magical earrings that Ruby's wearing.
How do I know these moves?
Psychic earrings. Just don't set them to battle mode.
And of course, I instantly clocked onto them in my reaction. I'm not sure on that. Susan Twist! Susan Twist! Susan Twist! Twist! Anyways, Doctor finds mysterious, attractive American man, which brings me to my first issue with the episode. If this character is not Captain Jack, which it isn't, then this really is just a blatant rip-off of his character. Oh, attractive, flirty space freelancer who has an American accent, with an invisible ship and a big quote-unquote gun. Yeah, we're definitely not just redoing Captain Jack at all. No, forget that. It really just screams like the show is trying to rehash something that was successful before. And sure, I take no issue with this rogue character. He's got some flirty banter, but his thing seems to just be he lost someone once. Okay, now I do want to point out, I enjoy the banter between the Doctor and Rogue, and the flirty energy is all good. But essentially, they spend the episode spouting exposition and explaining things to each other, and all in all, I just don't find Rogue an interesting character whatsoever. For the Doctor to then save himself, he then reveals that he is actually a Time Lord. Although I'm not really sure how this defends his case, because Rogue is after shape-shifting aliens that take on many faces, just for the Doctor to explain that he is, well, exactly that. And then Rogue seems to just fall in love with him?
Wow.
Okay. The Doctor then shows Rogue his TARDIS, where the Doctor says,
Who did you lose? What? You lost someone.
Yeah, listen, Sherlock, this is something everyone has been through. Why is he saying this like it's a really big, relatable thing that brought them together? The Doctor then just offers Rogue to go travelling with him?
Let's argue across the stars.
When literally 10 seconds ago, Rogue was trying to incinerate him. Now, this is where people got angry at me by throwing the girl in the fireplace argument at me. And this is where I realised, you know what? This fan base sometimes can be so two-dimensional. No one had a problem when the Doctor and Madame de Pompadour fell in love really quickly, though. Nobody seemed to have a problem with the Doctor and River Song, though, did they? Listen. My argument is not that the Doctor shouldn't fall in love. The only romance I ever rooted for was when I was 7, and it was the Doctor and Rose. Anybody who has seen my other reviews will know I was completely against the Doctor and River Song story. For some reason, people just automatically assumed I was completely accepting of every other relationship the Doctor has had. And I feel like it's a really cheap and easy way to list someone as homophobic, which is as equally as sad as the people who hated this episode simply because it was a same-sex love interest. Now let's go back to the girl in the fireplace, right? The scenarios are completely different. Yes, they fell for each other very quickly. However, the Doctor already knew who Madame de Pompadour was. He already had admiration for her achievements and her character and her talents before he had even met her. She then comes sauntering in, showing extreme intelligence and understanding of the Doctor's character. She even enters his brain with some mad telepathy shit. A human with the ability to do that, of course the Doctor is going to fall in love. Not even Rose understood him on that level. So yes, it was a short period of time, but the romance formed between the Doctor and Madame de Pompadour is completely understandable. And guess what? I even find their romance more believable than the Doctor and River Songs. But in this instance, the Doctor and Rogue just go from, "Hey man, I'm going to incinerate you, bird boy," to, "Hey lad, I think you lost someone once. Didn't you lose someone? Travel with me now. I love you so much. I love you so much." So the Doctor and Rogue have this little dance to stir up some drama, which works, and all the bird people reveal themselves. Yeah, they look terrible.
We're gonna cosplay this planet to death!
Yikes. Oh dear. Oh my god, guys, Ruby gets game ended. Second time now this season. Second time. But it wasn't fooling me. Oh. I just realised Ruby's not dead, is she? Because she's got the earrings. Battle mode, innit? Those earrings had to come into importance, didn't they? Should be fine. No, they didn't. I'm not buying it.
I will keep her safe.
The one thing the Doctor should never do is make a promise about keeping a companion safe.
How long did we live for?
The Doctor's crying again. It really is like every episode at this point. Like, I can understand most of the situations. It's understandable why he's crying. Like, and in every episode so far, it's understandable, but it's been every episode now. My patience isn't doing too good this time round, guys. Doctor, Ruby's not one of them. Ruby ain't one of them.
No, I'm not. It's me, Doctor.
Nice try. How?
The earrings.
Battle mode.
Man, if the Doctor couldn't even figure that out, then what is the point? Like, I saw that coming a mile off. Oh yeah, and the Doctor's plan is to trap all the birds to send them to starve to death on a barren wasteland. Yes, that is a whole issue within itself. But Rogue does interject and sacrifices himself to save Ruby. Not before having a cheeky little smooch with our Doctor here. Yeah, if I had one word for this episode, it would be melodramatic. This episode is lazily written with a whole lot of conveniences, a boring B-Tech Captain Jack with a forced romance, the Doctor not even thinking straight because his mind is full of, ooh, roguey Willy. And it has a goofy resolution. Some people were genuinely saying it was one of the best ever episodes of Doctor Who. Now listen, this episode is definitely not god-awful. I like some of the banter, the setting, and the premise would appear to be interesting, but it was executed absolutely terribly. The bird things look awful. Ruby is really annoying in this episode. You kind of forget she's 19 years old. The special effects are lacking, and the Doctor was also incredibly grating in this. This episode is going in not for me. The Legend of Ruby Sunday. Oh, here we go. A two-parter Russell T Davies season finale. If we have anything to go by, then we know that this episode is going to be an absolute banger. I went to the cinema to watch this as well, and goddamn, it was one hell of an experience. The TARDIS comes crashing into the unit tower, where we see Rose again. Yep, she really has no use in this story whatsoever. I genuinely don't know why she's here. Kate is also back. Happy days. But guys, we jump straight into it with the question of who is this Susan Twist? Turns out she's just a Lady Elon Musk with triad technology. Even though it's never really explained what this triad technology does or what it's for, it doesn't matter. I love the whole
TARDIS. The name is TARDIS technology.
Well, obviously. Thank you.
Almost like a jab at the fans who thought they were super duper smart for figuring this out. Then there's the suggestion that Susan Twist might actually be the Doctor's granddaughter. Oh, my intrigue is through the roof.
If you're chasing after that Dr. Manawan and your him is trouble.
I love Cherry Sunday, man. I love Cherry Sunday. Yeah, then there's more of this Mrs. Flood mystery stuff, and it is insanely cheesy.
There's a storm coming in. He waits no more.
Anyways, guys, they then reveal that there's this way they can analyse the tapes using convenient CCTV footage of the church.
This is rough.
Yeah, I love this. Whilst it is a little bit unbelievable, I will say this episode does a phenomenal job at building tension.
How am I flooding like crazy?
Did anyone see her face?
No, nothing.
Nothing, sorry.
What is she doing? Can we see? Why did she stop? Did she see me fighting?
Colonel Chidozi, you will return to your position.
Just see if there's anything there.
You said not to move.
I know!
What is that?
It is really annoying that this entire sequence is building up how mysterious and shady Ruby's mystery mum is. But if we're taking it as if it's our first time watching, God, it is fucking gripping. Big smoke cloud appears and I am hooked. So the Doctor then goes to try and find Susan, and then he starts crying. Yet again.
Finished? Now stop grizzling and fix it.
Thank you, Mel. Someone had to bloody tell him. God, this guy's a wet blanket, man. Dry your eyes, mate. Anyways, we get to the reveal. The sound of the evil TARDIS is just incredible. It gives me chills. Harriet Arbinger reveals herself and Susan goes into full-blown meltdown, which leads to the reveal of Sutekh. And oh my God, it is done masterfully. I love everything about it. It is so Russell T Davies to the bone. Murray Gold's sensational soundtrack. The jump scares, the reactions, the tension, the teasing. Yes, 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 yes! Oh my God, I love it all. Put it in my mouth. The first time watching was absolutely amazing, and in my opinion, this episode tickled all the right spots for me. Don't get me wrong, the sequence with the tape does take up the majority of the episode's runtime, and it does drag a little bit. The stuff with Mrs. Flood is a little bit cringe, but everything else with this episode is so great. Oh my God, it is. I mean, what more could you want from a Doctor Who finale first part, man? I tell you. This episode, guys, is going in great. Empire of Death. The episode starts with Susan Twist. Well, she's just Thanosing everyone. Night night. Honestly, what is Rose actually doing? She really has no reason to be here, and I just want to point out this trans representation that Russell T Davies is trying to achieve is probably more insulting than it is powerful and progressive. She quite literally is just a token progressive character. Wow, she's trans, and that's all that's been discussed about her character. Okay, your little moment's over, go back to the background. Yeah, you're no longer important to us, so you're just there. This is not how you do representation. But damn, Kate's death scene had us all shook in the cinema, I can't lie. This gift of death really seems quite devastating.
I'm sorry, you tiny little woman. I had such plans.
Well, at least we know that Miss Flood has nothing to do with this pantheon. So, this remembered TARDIS. How the fuck does this work? Apart from it being some nostalgia bait, seriously, how is this working? I don't get it. I will say though, Sutek's voice is pretty super sexy cool, and it's cool they got the original Sutek to do the voice as well. But it's revealed that Sutek has been surfing the TARDIS since the 70s. I could go into how ridiculous this notion is of Sutek being attached to the TARDIS for thousands of years, but I feel like it's been absolutely memed to death, alright? It's really stupid. Anyway, after the Doctor and Sutek's little pissing match, the Doctor gets a little victim complex and starts screaming into space. Wah, it's all my fault, I'm crying again. And yes, I am downplaying it. So far, this episode has been pretty good, alright? Nothing's ruined it just yet.
The secret the child carries with her.
So you're telling me that the reason Sutek has appeared now is because he's so invested in this mystery of Ruby Sunday and who her mother is. Can someone show Sutek the Jeremy Kyle show, please? I feel like he'd have a great time. Now, this is probably my favourite scene of this episode. The Doctor wants to get a spoon, so he finds this woman. It does seem really out of place because of this episode's pacing, and it's not really explained why the Doctor is here specifically, and it's a well-performed and lovely scene, and that's all I can really say.
He saw the one thing beyond his comprehension. Your mother.
Damn, that's actually an epic roast right there. That's actually an epic roast. But even still, for Sutek to be scared of Ruby's mum, God, she must be super duper important, right? The episode is leading this towards someone who is mega important. Looking back, there is so much convenient shite in this episode. Oh, magic whistle, Mavity gloves, magic rope. Apart from the gloves, where has any of this stuff been used in Doctor Who before, and why is it in this remembered TARDIS? Or is it just for convenience to wrap up the plot? So the Doctor then realises that the underbaked Welsh Donald Trump man from earlier made DNA samples compulsory in 2046. So they use this to go find Ruby's mum.
Searching 76 million people.
Oh my god, you're telling me that computers in 2046 take this long to load? Jesus. Now why is Mel freezing to death now? Wait, now she's using the Force on the Doctor. How did she even get back in the room? How did nobody hear her? Make it make sense. So they end up being somehow teleported to Sutek, where we think everything is about to be revealed. But Ruby smashes the TV screen and somehow reaches Sutek's collar to attach this magical rope. How does she do that? Look at the distance. How did she do that? But the magical rope is used to put Sutek back into the vortex. So sorry guys, isn't this exactly what the Doctor did before? Couldn't Sutek just reattach himself to the TARDIS and do this all again? But no, somehow this time he scratches the vortex and reverses all of the damage. Wow, Russell T Davies just reversing everything? Wow, this is so new and original. He's never done this before. Well, that's a slightly disappointing resolution, but at least we still have the epic super duper reveal of Ruby's mum, right? When I tell you the collective groan that was let out at the cinema was louder than any other reaction, everyone was pissed off by this.
She was important. Because we think she's important.
Wow, that is so insulting. We made her important, so it's our fault that this reveal is so disappointing. I get what they're trying to say, that we do like to attach importance to absolutely everything, when most likely it don't really mean very much. But Russell, your writing made this seem like this woman was super duper important.
She was pointing out the name of the road. She was naming you.
You have got to be kidding me. The dramatic pointing was her naming Ruby. Fuck's sake, man. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Despite the absolutely insulting reveal, the scene where they meet is actually very lovely and was performed very well. Even brought a little tears to my eye. Because they were releasing it in the cinema, I thought there's something huge has got to happen. So I thought this scene here is where the Doctor thinks, oh man, you know what? Family really is important. And I thought he was going to probably go back and find Susan and reunite with her, just as a way to wrap up all these Susan references nicely. No, that doesn't happen. I got my hopes up. So Ruby gets her mummy back and says her goodbyes to the Doctor. And yet again, this scene does not hit the same way as any other companion exit, apart from the Chibnall ones, because I still don't invest in Ruby as a character whatsoever. She has had absolutely no development at all, and I still don't get her character apart from who's me mum? Who's me mum? But we know that now. So what else is Ruby then? And the episode ends with more teasing where Mrs. Flood stands on the roof.
I'm sorry to say his story ends in absolute terror.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Russell. Do you know what? I think you've lost the trust of the majority of the fan base with this absolute shambles. No one is going to be buying into this Mrs. Flood shite anymore because she's probably just some ordinary woman who lives next door who's just fucking mental. I genuinely cannot defend Russell here as much as I have over these reviews. This is just a result of really poor writing. This story is just filled with an insane amount of conveniences. The visuals are fantastic in this episode. Everyone's clowning on Sutek in the Vortex. You can't deny this episode does look amazing. There is some really touching moments and some nostalgia bait to get all of us Doctor Who fans all tingly in the groin. And Murray Gold is impeccable over this season finale. He pretty much carried it. But I do think this episode is a prime example of don't expect anything good and you won't be disappointed. I think I speak on behalf of this fan base. We were very much misled. This episode, guys, is going in not for me. So, the season is done, and it's definitely not a bad series. But I did realise when Rogue came out that this format is not working anymore. You cannot have 8 episodes that are 45 minutes. It worked with 13 episodes because we had time to get to know the characters and become invested. Russell T Davies is my favourite showrunner for 2 reasons: character writing and world building. This season had neither. And I really struggled to make this video because, yes, whilst there are some good episodes, I can't help but feel like something is missing or something is off. It's like when your uncle walks in with fresh veneers. Yes, it looks good and it's definitely still your uncle, but something just looks a bit off. Strangest analogy I could have given, but you know what I mean. I have defended this show from people slating it purely for wokeness. And apart from the whole Rose stuff, there was actually nothing quote-unquote woke about this series. Having the Doctor kiss a man or there be a gay actor does not make this show unwatchable and woke and blah blah blah. And people just seem to forget to critique the actual writing itself because everyone is so insistent on arguing about sex, gender, politics, that I am genuinely exhausted by this fan base. I genuinely think in some ways the Doctor Who fan base itself is killing this show just as much as the media is trying to as well. Especially with all this ongoing nonsense of season 3 hasn't been announced yet, or Ncuti Gatwa's been fired. I do appreciate, however, that not everyone thinks about this show like that. A lot of you are here subscribed to this very channel. I appreciate that very much. My channel members who have also supported me, I appreciate you very much also. The format of this show does need to change, and we need more series like Flux, obviously just written a lot better, with one overall story just to keep this show fresh. A lot of this show's budget just seems to be spent incorrectly, leading us with a handful of good stories, but a wide range of pretty pants ones. And listen, that was fine for the first 5 years or so, but New Who has been going on for nearly 20 years. It cannot keep going this way anymore. I love this show. I always have, and I always will. I know that season 2 is not going to be much different because they made the mistake of producing it before season 1 had even aired. But we need more character development. We need more questions answered, and we need to slow things down. But alas, we won't find out until it comes. Guys, thank you very much for sitting here and listening to me ramble on about this wonderful TV show, despite my issues with it. But I can only hope that it continues to get better. Because as much as I do have my issues with this show, it's definitely a significant improvement from what we've had for the last 5 years. I could finally move on to talking about the Sarah Jane Adventures, Torchwood, Class. Make sure you subscribe to my DTDW Reacts channel, where I'm going to be reacting to all of the episodes of those shows. And please feel free to subscribe to this channel. I appreciate you're probably not going to agree with everything that I said, and that's absolutely fine. Other than that, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you very much for watching, and I do apologise this video took so long to come out, but it's done. Thank you, and goodbye.